Hello, Hoosier fans, Hoosier haters, and everyone in between. This is the Crimson Coliseum podcast. And on today's episode, I'm going to talk about the Hoosiers surviving against the Michigan Wolverines 20 to 15. This game was an ugly game. I didn't get to watch most of the game because I was at work. But from what I pieced together, second half, I got to watch second half. That was ugly. So let's start off with the player stats. We got Curtis Work passing for Indiana, 17 to 28, 206 yards, two touchdowns, and interception. Tyson Lawton, 12 carries, 55 yards on the ground. Receiving wise, Keyshawn Williams, 6 receptions, 70 yards. Omar Cooper, 3 receptions, 53 yards. And Elijah Surratt, 1 reception, 36 yards, and one touchdown, and two just uncharacteristic drops in that late second half. I think he makes those catches. I don't know what was going on with him. Maybe it was a little bit wet, but hopefully he gets it fixed by the bye week. And hopefully Miles Price is back before Ohio State. I think he probably can. Just hoping. Then defensively, Aiden Fisher, 14 tackles, 3 solo. CJ West, 9 tackles, 4 solo, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 pass defended. Jalen Walker, 7 tackles, 2 solo, 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass defended. Terry Jones Jr., 7 tackles, 2 solo, 2 tackles for loss, 2 passes defended, 1 forced fumble. Mikael Kamara, 5 tackles, 2 solo, 1 pass defense, and 1 fumble recovery. And Indiana played as well. Offense didn't play great in the second half. They played pretty well in the first. Not so great in the second. Um, but the defense really stepped up, was playing well the entire game. Passing wise for Michigan, Davis Warren, 16 to 32, 137 yards. Donovan Edwards on the ground, 15 carries for 46 yards. Receiving wise, Colston Loveland, a guy that I had circled as someone that could be a big problem. Only 4 receptions for 37 yards. So great job defensively stopping their best player. Defensively, though, Jay-Sean Barham, 6 tackles, 5 solo, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. TJ Guy had a great second half. 5 tackles, 3 solo, 2 sacks, 2.5 tackles for loss. And Zeke Berry, 1 tackle, 1 solo, 3 passes defended, and 1 interception. And it was the first close game Indiana's played all year. Team stat wise, Indiana only had 56 plays, and even 28 passing, 28 rushing for 246 yards, 206 yards passing, 40 yards rushing, 4 of 11 on third down, which is another game where second straight game where Indiana's been under 500 on third down at 36.4, 0 for 1 on fourth down, and penalties, 5 penalties for 54 yards. Michigan, meanwhile, had 66 plays, 32 passing, 34 rushing, 200 for only 206 yards. Oh God. God, my computer's lagging. 206 yards, 137 passing, uh, 69 rushing, which really good on that defense. On third down, the second straight game where Indiana has held a team to 515 on third down with 33%, and then 1 of 2 on fourth down, 50%, and they were 3 of 3 penalties for 30 yards. Pros and cons. Defense was great. Held Michigan to the lowest amount of yards since 2016, with 201 yards allowed in that game. First half offense was pretty solid. And penalties were better considering the beginning of the year. But honestly, I have more cons than pros. And considering we won by 5, yeah. Second half offense was absolutely terrible. Time of possession wise, they did in the third quarter they had the ball for less than 2 minutes. From what I heard from when I saw from the Crimson Quarry, not Crimson Quarry, it was Hoosier Commish. Hoosier Commish Twitter page. Great follow, by the way. Hoosier Commish Twitter page. Dude, it was just bad penalty wise. Like Michigan should have been called for way more holds than they should have, which it's gonna be that way against Ohio State. Like, we just got to get used to that. O line was rough. Drew Evans was out with an Achilles injury. He's out for the year. Tyler Stevens is going to replace him. Apparently, he played pretty well, but hopefully, Drew Evans has successful in recovery, speedy recovery. And Indiana needed to run the football way more. I get that the passing offense is much more threatening, and that D line is very good, but we needed to run the football more, in my personal opinion. We should not have 40 rushing yards. Shouldn't. Players of the game, offensively, I'm going to go Keyshawn Williams. Defensively, Aiden Fisher. And then special teams is Nicholas Radicic again, 2 for 2 in extra points, and 2 for 2 on field goals, both a career high of 40 and 41. And before I end this today, I want to discuss recruiting. A guy that I think will not be with the Hoosiers next year, a guy that I think will, and a future prospect that I really like. So I don't think Julian Lewis is going to be at Indiana. I think he's going to be at Colorado. I don't know about USC, but if the rumor that he wants to start year one is true, I don't see Indiana really going out for him anymore. And he also said he was going to be at the Michigan and Nebraska games. It did not go there. So that's what it is. Um, Byron Baldwin, I think he had a really good visit to Indiana the past couple times. He visited against the first Nebraska game. He decommitted, which I only think is Deion Sanders gave him an offer and he at least see it out, you know. I don't hate him for that. Um, it just whenever Deion Sanders if you could play under Deion Sanders and you're a DB, I don't hate the decision. But but I think he's going to be able to be back in Indiana. I think he'll be back in Bloomington. But a guy that I really liked, I saw he followed he mentioned Tino Sinceri. That's how I saw it. But Nathan Bernard, a class of 2026 quarterback out of Ashland, Ohio. I need to watch his replay. I need to watch his highlights. Has 9 offers and Indiana's one of them. He visited the Michigan game today. Um, Other offers, Akron, Duke, Iowa State, Louisville, Michigan State, Penn State, Toledo, West Virginia, and Ohio State. So, and the 24/7 composite has him as a 4-star quarterback, close to a 5-star. He's the 24th ranked quarterback in his class and the 14th ranked Ohio player. One reason why I liked him, 6'6", 230 at quarterback. A guy that I immediately think of when I think 6'6", 230. I know the numbers are a little different. And then on 24/7, it says 6'5", 227, which makes it even more closer to it. But Philip Rivers, a guy that uh, Kurt Cignetti's staff has worked with before, whenever he was at North Carolina State. Philip Rivers, 6'5", 228. It's a similar build, and he looks like he had a good sophomore season. And I'll have to look at his highlights before I know more. But that's a guy I'm keeping my eye on going to next year because he could be a guy that we do Taven for 2 years. He leaves after his redshirt senior year. We do, and then by that point, Tyler Cherry's a redshirt junior. Yes, redshirt junior. We have him for 2 years. And then we have Bernard as a redshirt. We keep these guys that are redshirt juniors that have been in the program for 3 years and give them 2 more years, 2 years playing experience. Keep that rolling. That's what I think. But anyways, that's going to be it for today. It's a quick episode, but it's also going before I get done. I forgot Marching 100, great show. Really loved it. Keep it up. Hopefully, I learn more about the Purdue game. The show's gonna be for the Purdue game. I got a new guest for that. That's gonna be fun. But that's gonna be it for today. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, share on all platforms. I'm gonna ask, how do you feel about Indiana after this game?